Somewhere on Earth right now, there are fewer than 50 people who share something so rare that most doctors will go their entire careers without ever encountering it. Rarer than a professional athlete. Rarer than a billionaire. Rarer, in the most literal genetic sense, than almost anything else a human body can be. These people cannot tell you about it by looking in a mirror. There is no visible sign, no unusual feature. They look like anyone else on a crowded street. The only way to discover it is to nearly die. Because the rarest thing about these people is hiding inside their blood, and most of them only find out the truth in the back of an ambulance. To understand how rare this actually is, you need to understand blood types the way they are usually taught, and then understand why that explanation is incomplete. Most people know they have a blood type A, B, AB, or O, and a positive or negative Rh factor. That gives you 8 common combinations, and most hospitals can supply any of them in an emergency without much difficulty. But blood typing goes far deeper than that single Rh factor most people learn about. The Rh blood group system actually contains over 50 different antigens proteins sitting on the surface of red blood cells that the immune system uses to identify what belongs in the body and what does not. Almost every human being on Earth has at least some of these Rh antigens present. Even people who are technically Rh negative still carry most of the other proteins in that same system. What makes a blood type rare is not missing one protein. It is missing all of them. In 1961, an Australian woman became the first documented person discovered to be missing every single Rh antigen on her red blood cells. Her blood type had no name yet because nothing like it had ever been confirmed before. Researchers eventually called it Rh-null, and they nicknamed it golden blood, both because of its origin story and because of what it can do for other people. Since that discovery, fewer than 50 people have ever been confirmed to have Rh-null blood in the entire recorded history of medicine. Some estimates suggest the type may exist in roughly 1 in 6 million people worldwide. To put that number into perspective, if you gathered every person who has ever won an Olympic gold medal in the modern era, you would have more people than currently confirmed to have Rh-null blood on the entire planet. Here is where the story stops being simply rare and starts being genuinely dangerous. Rh-null blood can be given to almost anyone, because it is missing the proteins that other immune systems might react against. This makes it universally compatible in a way that makes it medically priceless. A single donation can potentially save the life of nearly any patient, regardless of their own blood type. But the reverse is not true. A person with Rh-null blood can only safely receive blood from another person with Rh-null blood, or, in rare emergencies, from another Rh-null carrier whose blood has been specifically screened and matched. If you have this blood type and you are in a serious accident, the blood bank cannot simply pull a bag off the shelf. There may be no compatible blood available anywhere in the country you live in. This is not a hypothetical fear. There are documented cases of people with Rh-null blood traveling internationally specifically to remain near a known compatible donor, simply in case of emergency. Blood banks that identify a Rh-null carrier treat that discovery the way a museum treats finding a previously unknown artifact. The information is logged, tracked, and in some documented cases, shared internationally between blood services so that if that person or someone equally rare ever needs an emergency transfusion anywhere in the world, there is at least a chance of finding a match in time. Several known carriers of Rh-null blood have described feeling a strange dual reality once they learned the truth about their own bodies. On one hand, they carry something that could save lives. Most other people cannot save their blood as requested specifically by international blood banks and can be flown across borders for patients who would otherwise have no options. On the other hand, they live with the knowledge that an ordinary accident, the kind that happens to thousands of people every single day without serious consequence, could become something nobody around them is medically equipped to handle. What makes this story remarkable is not simply the rarity of the number. It is what that number reveals about how much of what makes you genuinely unique is invisible. You can walk past someone carrying one of the rarest biological traits on the planet and have absolutely no way of knowing it. There is no test you can run by looking, no outward sign written anywhere on the body. The rarest version of being human is not loud. It does not announce itself. It sits quietly inside the bloodstream of fewer than 50 known people on Earth, waiting for the one moment when it either saves a life or desperately needs one. You are almost certainly not one of these 50 people. Statistically, you never will meet one. And yet somewhere right now, one of them is going about an ordinary day, completely unaware that they are carrying something rarer than almost anything else a human body has ever been confirmed to contain.